some of the kids. They go down the stairs and then.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody and good morning. Welcome to Super Dads. I'm Brad Moser, registered psychologist, family counselor, and I work at Family Center. If you listen closely, you might notice that I also swallowed a frog. I'm just catching the cold from the family, and as usual, I'm the last one to get it. Daddy's always the last one to get the cold. So I'm joined here with my colleague Carmen Hunchuk, and Carmen and I have worked together for
6 years.
6 years at Family Center, and she is a family counselor. We go a long way back. We actually met 18, 19 years ago.
Yes, at university.
Yeah, University of Lethbridge. We were both working on our bachelor degree, and we were in a psychology class together. So, and then we've worked together quite a bit at Family Center with working together, with running some groups together and whatnot. So I'm happy that Carmen has agreed to join me, because today we're talking about combating parental alienation. And Carmen and I have a lot of experience working with families and individuals going through separation and divorce. This is something we've seen a lot in our work. So I just want to provide, first of all, a framework for what we're going to be talking about today. And this is basically about the importance of father involvement when the relationship between parents is not good, such as can be with a case of separation and divorce, but it could also happen in intact marriages as well. And this is something that a very popular term has been given, and that's parental alienation. And specifically, we're going to talk about when dads feel like they do not have as much time with their kids as they would like, or feel like they're being discouraged from having a relationship with their kids. But this can also apply to moms as well. We are going to be talking about dads, but just keep in mind that anything we mentioned can apply to moms as well. So let's start her off today, Carmen. My first question for you as a parent, what is your favorite, well, first of all, what is the ages and the names of your kids?
I have a daughter named Jillian, who's 26, and a son named John, who's 24.
Awesome. Yes, so you've got to see the challenge and the reward of them getting older and becoming young adults. And
absolutely, and not only them, but their close friends. I've had the pleasure of seeing grow up around us, and I have a long list of other children that have grown up around us that we quite adore as well, and are very proud of.
That's awesome, and that does talk about the importance of community, right? And how important children need to grow up in a supportive community, not just within a family.
So true, true, and it's just a pleasure to have participated in that.
For sure. What would you say is your favorite part of being a parent?
Well, I think there's a lot of things. I really felt like I was in my true life role as a parent, and so it's hard to just whittle it down to a few things, but I would say, moving through the ages, there's always something that you enjoy more than something else, but in the end, we're at the stage that I'm at now, I really enjoy seeing the authentic development of my children, that they have sort of come into themselves, and they're just finishing being who they are authentically. Brad tends to use that word authentic a lot, and I've adopted it because it's a really, really good word. Yeah. So, when your baby is born, you have a lot of expectation. You think, I wonder what they'll be, what they'll look like, and it's interesting watching the unfolding of your child and keeping it as authentic as you can.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm just sorry, you can notice I'm turning the table just a little bit here. We're just trying to adjust some microphone settings here, so bear with us. Great, I appreciate you talking about how the reward you've seen with seeing them become their own selves.
Yes, exactly. That's better said, actually.
It's really, really beautiful. And that's something I think we all strive towards as parents. Next question for you, specifically about dads. Why do you feel it is important for dads to be involved in their children's lives?
Well, I think that based on my own experience as a child, I had a lot of, not a lot of time with my father, but usually some very impactful moments. and reflecting upon that made me realize that it was important to me as a child. And also studying psychology, we're shown that there is a lot of peer-reviewed articles and studies that let us know that father involvement is very important for the psychological and social development of children.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks, Carmen. And the research on father involvement and the importance in their development has only come out around the mid-90s, so it is fairly early, but it is showing very positive signs and the positive impact that dads have on their kids' lives.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's very, very good and very important.
Yeah, for sure. My next question for you, Carmen, is why is it essential for kids to have a positive relationship with both parents?
Well, both parents bring different things to a child's life. And I mean, there's so much on this subject. One story I could just start off with is I had a little fellow in counseling with me who said to me a long time ago that he felt like he was half bad. And this story tugs at the heartstrings just a little bit. And when I asked him why he had said that, he said, because my mom tells me that my dad is bad and I'm half of him. So that gives you a very personal example as to why it's important for both parents to be involved and for children to feel good about both parents. On a sort of a peer-reviewed level, there have been, again, many studies that show that children really benefit from involvement from their father. Specifically girls around the age of 12, and boys with rough and tumble play with father. There's many small examples and good productivity in how your child socializes psychologically and socially, health-wise, and what they can do with their lives after, just because they're more well-adjusted.
Definitely, yes. And so, as you mentioned there, Carmen, the research is showing, has shown that parents do parent differently. Dads do their things differently, moms do their things differently, but they're both essential for child development. And it's interesting when you get when you're looking at like gay, bisexual, transgender, lesbian couples, parents who are raising kids, what tends to happen between those parents is one will take on more of the kind of stereotypical dad kind of roles, and the mom or the other person will take on more of the stereotypical kind of mom roles, and
right.
That's both essential for child development as well. Yeah.
Yes, so very true.
Mm-hmm.
As I had pointed out, the rough and tumble play is
Mm-hmm.
very important for children, to learn social boundaries, and typically that's done between a father and sons, but as in my case growing up, all of us were involved in the rough and tumble play, so certainly not limited to certain genders.
For sure, yeah. And next question for you, Carmen. What can dads do to have strong, positive relationships with their kids when they feel like they don't have enough time, money, or resources?
Well, I just love this question. It's really what we're all about at Family Center with fathers is to encourage and point out ways that you can bond with your child. I would say if you don't have enough time, try to make the moments that you have with your child really impactful. When I was growing up, my father was often away, and we didn't have very much money, but I used to play with rocks in the back alley. And one day he showed up with a handmade box with a glass top on it so I could keep my rocks in it. This told me many things. It told me he was paying attention to who I was and what I was interested in, and I'll never forget that moment. He was away a lot, but that just confirmed my importance in his life. And I would say that if you don't have time, try your best to make some time. If you're in a distance relationship with your child, you can do many things such as email daily, or write a diary, or write letters. Try to do a Skype call. If you have a child with a cell phone, you might want to check in at convenient times for them to find out how their day is going. You can send fun little video or words of encouragement would be really, really good. If you're feeling discouraged about your child's involvement, you know, that you feel that you don't have enough time with your child, you can always document in a diary what you were thinking that day and what you were thinking about them, and it's something they can read later on. As far as money is concerned, money isn't the best lesson. Like buying things for our children isn't the best lesson we can give to them. And there's many things we can share with our children that don't involve money, like a sense of humor, time outside, cooking. I have a client who cooks with his child, and it's really like a beautiful, beautiful bond that they have together. There's many, many ways that you can show your child your love and attention.
Right, that's a good point. And you are talking about really there's the difference between quality and quantity.
Quality and quantity, that's really, it's really important.
Yeah, and if you don't have that quantity, like if you feel like, you know, you only see your child every second weekend, or if you're working all the time and you only see them for, you know, on the weekends or whatnot, that to treat those the best times and to have real focus on quality is really important.
Yes, exactly. Put down the cell phone and engage in eye-to-eye contact, and the pleasure with your children is to be able to find out what they're thinking at that time in their life, and to be a really good listener. Listening to children is a pleasure because they will tell you all kinds of things, and watching them grow and develop in their ideas is really, really interesting. It's always good to tell your child that you love them and that anything to do with the separation is not their fault. And those are really good things to start with. And if you're unsure as to what to do, you can always visit us at Family Center, or you can look at friends and family who tend to have good relationships with their children, or people out there having a good, you know, relationship with their child or good interaction at that point, and you can sort of jump off from those points as well as look and think, wow, that was really neat what that parent has done with their child. I could also do that with my child.
Absolutely.
Whether they're words of encouragement or planning a trip 3 years from now, or a hiking trip or something small is really beneficial.
For sure. And I do want to add a note to what Carmen mentioned about the importance of it doesn't have to cost money, and actually when things are free or very little money, they're actually the most memorable for kids. There was a study done, and my previous colleague, General Visser, who I worked with for many years, he taught me this survey. I don't know how many years ago. It's probably like 15 years or 10 years ago. But there was a survey done of children who went to Disneyland and stayed at the Disneyland Resort. And the question on the survey was, what was your favorite part of your holiday? And the most common response they received was playing in the pool with the family. So it wasn't the rides, it wasn't the shows, it was, and typically when you have a big family go to Disneyland and the kids are different ages, they go in different directions, right? So, but when they were together in the pool, having fun, relaxed, that was their favorite memory.
That doesn't surprise me at all. We had that experience with myself growing up. We never had enough money to go to Disneyland, and I feel like I could go around wearing a t-shirt saying I survived my childhood without Disneyland. And we did actually, my husband and I, take our children to Disneyland, and it was not memorable to them at all. They hardly remember. In fact, we didn't have enough money to stay in a really fancy hotel, so we stayed in a hotel where there was a drug bust right outside our hotel room, and they do remember that, surviving that time. And so that was our only memorable moment about Disneyland. But we, in our family, we're storytellers. My husband is a storyteller, and if we reflect with the children and our children's friends, we tend to tell stories and laugh a lot and just have our time together, which is really golden and most valued in our situation.
And I do have to,
and can be in yours.
I do have to say that Carmen's children are very well responsible, independent, very healthy young adults, and I think that is a commendment of the hard work that you and Doug have done.
Well, thank you very much, and we didn't do this in a bubble. My mother and my father were very active in raising our children and our friends. Even though my parents lived at a distance, they had a lot to do with raising our children and our friends, and their children too have turned out so well, and they're really amazing kids as well. And just as an example, my son's best friend, his mother and I are also friends, and she would, her thing for my son was to always make him chocolate chip pancakes when he slept over at their house in the morning. And if he ends up there, even as an adult, she does that. So it's a really beautiful thing. Yeah.
Awesome. And I do want to make a segue to Instagram on hashtag SuperDadsYQL. We're encouraging you to please put up a picture of a fun, memorable activity with your kids that involved little or no money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
reading is awesome.
Awesome idea. Hashtag SuperDadsYQL. And the pic that I put up there is my family going to pet stores.
Yeah.
My kids really love animals. Our 8-year-old Shay wants to be a zookeeper.
He does.
So he can't afford to go to Calgary Zoo all the time. So going to pet stores and visiting some of the pets there, playing with some of the cats or whatever animals they may have, and if you can play with the kids or with the animals. And also even in Medicine Hat, like going to the Equidale and go to the farm there and just see the animals. I mean, there's lots of opportunities.
There's the Birds of Prey Center here as well, that my son's girlfriend worked at, and they're really a good resource as well. There's so many things within the community that people can utilize, including Family Center, to spend time with their children and be outside the house, or cozy little things you can do at home, like reading.
They involve little or no money, so yeah, for sure. Next question for you, Carmen. What can dads do when they feel that their relationship with their kids is being discouraged?
Yeah, and I think this is a very serious topic. One thing I would like to say to dads is please try to hang in there, because your involvement, your presence, whether it's at a distance or close involvement with your child, will pay off. Children don't tend to always give you the feedback you need when they're younger, and especially if they're going through separation and divorce. But once they grow up, you will hear from them what you did that was very valuable to them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have to echo what Carmen's saying, the importance of hanging in there, and that your involvement is so important, and not giving up, right? Because the kids will see it once they become adults or teenagers.
Yeah.
See that.
And find the pockets of inspiration that help you. Our legal system isn't usually very family friendly through separation and divorce, but try to stick with the communication, the psychology, the community supports, and try to look for the beauty in your community and the support in your community that you can, because that's where you're going to find more inspiration.
Definitely. Great. Really well said, Carmen. Before we get into some of the final things here, is there anything else you wanted to mention about parental alienation, how to cope with that?
I'm just going to take a quick look at my notes and see what I had looked at. I think I just wanted to mention that there are some people, such as Chris Lawson, at the family. She or he? She. Yeah. Is a family court counselor, and I know that they can sort of help you work within the courts without bringing in all the legal matters, to try to straighten out some of the rough patches in your separation and divorce. I would also like you to think about really focusing on the children through separation and divorce, and try not to focus on the other emotions that are also very human. Feelings of remorse and revenge, and the very human urge, I suppose, to diss the other parent. However, this will have a price for you with their relationship down the line. Typically, if you're the person, let's say Brad and I were married, and I'm alienating him, that would affect my relationship with the children down the line. So it's better to really focus on the children, and you'll be happy that you did in the end.
Yes, absolutely, fully agree with that. The importance of getting the support you need when to deal with the emotions related to the divorce, to your co-parent, and then really trying to up the focus on the relationship with your kids more so than even before you went through a separation.
In ways that don't cost money.
Yeah.
You know, gather as much as you can and talk about the Children's Day, and you can be an example to them, a role model. You can let them know that you had an embarrassing moment that day, and you can laugh at the humanity of that. You can read with them. You can go to the library, take out books. At Family Center, we have a really great library you can take out books from as well to read. Just enjoy life's little moments. It's kind of comes from the Buddhist philosophy, just be in the moment. But that's usually, you don't want to waste your life thinking about what if I had more money to take them to Disneyland, when in fact that's just not important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I also just want to mention that if you feel like your co-parent is saying bad things about you to the kids and whatnot, or you don't have control over anybody besides yourself, right? So you can't change what they're doing.
Yes.
I mean, they may change, and that's up to them.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's good to be the example of strength.
Exactly.
And to be the example for your child to focus on. And it may not seem like they're watching you, but trust me, they are.
Yeah, and you can do what you can do to try to invite your co-parent to have a working relationship for the sake of the kids. But again, you're only responsible for what you can do.
Yeah. Remember that you can't control their decisions, but you can control yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think we've covered the basics. Obviously, if you need more help or support, you can always contact us at Family Center. There's lots of resources available within your community or online as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One more question for Carmen is, where can people find you?
They can find me at Family Center. You can call in at 403-320-4232 and speak to Family Center about who you can access for family counseling or parent support. They'll probably pass you along to Alana, our intake worker, who's very, very awesome, and the people who pick up the phone are also awesome, so hopefully we can lead you into the area that would benefit you most. We do also have a focus program put on by Alberta Justice that helps you to relate to your co-parent. It's called Focus on Communication and Separation.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Carmen. I do have a couple more housekeeping items before we end today. I do want to mention that next week I will be one of the guest speakers at an event called Valuing Our Dads Conference, and that happens in Alderside. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. That's right near Okotoks. That's going to be October 26th from 9 a.m. to 2:30, and it's put on by Dad Central Canada, the Foothills area, and the Foothills Children's Wellness Network. So that's Valuing Our Dads Conference. The poster you can check out on our Instagram, #SuperDadsYQL. The second item I want to mention is that there is a group that I co-facilitate at Family Center called Parents Working Together, formerly known as Supporting Father Involvement. It's a group for parents. It's 11 weeks long. Childcare is provided, and the focus of the group is to strengthen relationships within the co-parents, between the children, the parent and child relationship, to feel better as parents, to find a better work-life balance, to build real connections with other parents, and to celebrate the unique strengths of dads. But now, for the first time this winter, we'll be offering this program within a condensed 5-week program, and that goes from November 5th to December 3rd. The poster for that, Parents Working Together, is available on #SuperDadsYQL. So a big thank you to Carmen.
Thank you for having me, and you're really so awesome with promoting father involvement. Or what's the new title again?
Super Dads, or
Super Dads,
yeah, sorry,
or the new
Parents Working Together. Yeah,
Parents Working Together, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Carmen.
And thank you to all of you who've taken the time to listen.
Yes, thank you very much, and big thank you to Jess FM. We're live here on jessfm.ca, and we'll check you out in 2 weeks. Awesome. Good. Well, thank you.
That's it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're really looking forward